Fortnite Wrecked just released a couple days ago, and there's been a lot of positivity, but also a lot of negativity circling around whether it's a good season or not. Today, I'm going to talk about every category of gameplay within the season and give my overall rating so far of what the season is like. Before we get into today's video, make sure to drop a like on this video to get it in the YouTube algorithm. Make sure to subscribe for more content. I've got more content like this, Fortnite stuff, Destiny stuff, variety, you name it, it's probably here on the channel. Plus, I also have a Support a Creator code if you want to use this and support me in the Fortnite item shop. With seasons of Fortnite Battle Royale in the past, we've always had the favorites that players loved most. We had the perfect lead-up events, perfect gameplay, perfect collaborations, perfect everything. But does Season 3 Wrecked follow suit? Let's talk about the different aspects, starting with event lead-ups. Most great seasons of the past had amazing event lead-ups that hyped us up for whatever came next, and there's been a lot of times where seasons delivered. But since the release of Chapter 4, we kind of fell into a pit where certain things didn't really work out like that. Events or lead-ups at all were dwindling up until the end of Chapter 5 Season 1. We had our very first lead-up event in years, which was the Hand event, starting a very cool storyline to follow with the next season, and even further. Now, the main thing that I'm bringing up with this is the Olympus event. The Mount Olympus event had the statue on top of Mount Olympus striking Pandora's box, leading to the evils within being released, skipping across the water, and hitting a desert island along the way, creating a big sandstorm. This lead-up event led to us finding out about the Lord of the Wasteland, Megalodon. We also found out that he was on his way to our island with his ship and his marauders, all to take over our island. But in order to do so, he has to refuel his ship, build up a pipeline so that he can call upon something called the Leviathan. But we also have a mysterious creature that's going to be making an appearance this season, someone called the Wanderer. The only thing we have about the Wanderer is some voice lines from last season spoken by the Oracle, some brief appearances and sprays across the island, and some loading screens. So from a story standpoint, we're starting off much stronger in this season than we have been in other seasons in Chapter 5, because finally, not everything is tied to NPC dialogue that you're briefly going to skip over throughout the course of the season. This is all thrown right at us through a cinematic trailer, through actual voice lines during our weekly quests that we're going to have, and actual imagery through Battle Pass items. So in all honesty, I think the story here is going to be pretty good. Now let's talk about the gameplay and engagement. From a gameplay standpoint of Chapter 5 as a whole, we basically had a couple new things each season that made the seasons fun for like a day, and then it felt like the same old Fortnite from the last few years. We had the introduction of the train, which has now since been destroyed. RIP train. We also have introductions of the god powers, bosses with minions, stuff like that. But this season, we have more introduced to us than this entire chapter combined. We have Wastelander challenges, making each match harder and more rewarding with negative boons. We have new vehicle servicing stations. We have new vehicle mods such as vehicle turrets, grenade launchers, vehicle repair boxes, and cars that use absolutely no boost whatsoever and run purely on nitro. Also, we have multiple locations around the map that challenge the player in combat against boss NPCs. If you don't think this game is at its peak with gameplay and engagement right now, I am heavily surprised. Because for me, this is the most fun I've ever had during a single season of Fortnite, and it just keeps getting better every single day. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, oh, well, the cars are too overpowered. This is too overpowered. Just have some fun with it. It's a game. That's the one thing everyone needs to realize here. It is a game. It is made purely to have fun. And if you're not having fun, then maybe it's not the game for you. And a lot of people are saying, well, oh, we have to focus on competitive. We have to do this. We have to do that because competitive is like the main core of Fortnite. And to those people, I want to say, I'm sorry, but no, that's not what Fortnite was meant to be. Fortnite was always supposed to be a game that you can play with your friends and have fun. That's how it started, and that's how I think it should be. Competitive is a whole nother thing that they want to do specifically for good players, and that's okay. That's a thing that I will respect, but I don't think that we need to ruin everybody else's experience just to adhere to them. They could do two separate loot pools. It could work out. I personally think that, I'm sorry I'm going off on a tangent here, but I think it's true. The next thing I want to bring up, the Fortnite map. Fortnite's islands in the past have been chaotic with Chapter 1, making the map hilariously fun. Chapter 2 was more so each season had a specific theme, ultimately being removed after each one, making it less hilariously fun like Chapter 1. Chapter 3 kept some cool chaotic aspects, felt a little lacking. Chapter 4 kind of struck that point where like, okay, We're kind of getting this closer back to what we were missing. Let's pursue it. And now finally in Chapter 5, I feel like we've returned back to that Chapter 1-esque map changes. Nothing gets removed each season besides the gameplay meta, which is to be expected. We still have a lot of underground and society locations. We still have a lot of the Greek mythology areas. Actually, we have all of them still. And now we have a huge section of a desert wasteland added to the bottom portion of the map. This is the most biomes I think we've ever had in Fortnite. And that in itself makes this Fortnite island peak quality for me. Yes, I'm a little confused with how big a sandstorm we had, how this island wasn't almost demolished and covered completely, but regardless of that, thinking about it more, I realize how special the map is to feel so varied. I mean, you look back at Chapter 1 and you could literally feel like you were playing a different game in different areas of the map. And right now, I feel like we're in that same exact portion of the game with Season 3. We can go from a desert wasteland to a desert oasis to slightly green grass to dark green grass and then straight to snowy mountains. And that's just amazing for a map to have all in one. And that's not even mentioning all the other stuff like the Underworld, Mount Olympus, Brawler's Battlegrounds, or things like that, or even the European-style buildings. All of this combined is just phenomenal. And lastly, the main point I want to make here, the battle pass and the rewards to strive for. This time around in Fortnite, we have a pretty interesting battle pass. And I'm not just saying that because there's cool characters. I'm not just saying that because it's a theme that I've wanted for a while. If I'm being entirely honest, it's not as varied as it has been in the past. But it feels like for the first time ever, we have an entire battle pass that feels rewarding from Tier 1 to Tier 100. Last season with Myths and Mortals, some of the coolest characters were in the earliest tiers of the battle pass, making the battle pass feel complete before you actually were. But in this particular season, every cool outfit is progressively unlocked up until the end of the battle pass, making the player really want to engage in the season and focus on building up their levels to gain these final rewards. I'm still not too thrilled about the V-Bucks and other rewards being bonus items past 100, but hey, at least the XP and the battle pass is good, which is another thing I'll get into in a second. But to get back to it, the battle pass is entirely wasteland themed, and the battle pass is entirely focused and centered on battle royale content. In Chapter 5 Season 1, we had a car and a ton of different styles near the end of the pass, taking up a ton of slots. In Season 2, we had a couple guitars for festival, but in this season, there's only one spot that's not battle royale, and it's a Lego pack. And guess what? It's an auto unlock for when you purchase the battle pass. It's not even one of the tier rewards you earn later like the other passes. So this truly builds up that engagement that I was talking about before, that truly helps you feel like the further you go, the more you feel rewarded. Megalodon is an insanely cool outfit, but that Nitro style at tier 100, oh my god, that is rewarding for sure. But the last thing that I want to talk about relating to the Battle Pass this season is the XP system. Last season, we had a pretty meh quest system where there was like a full set of weekly quests that would only get you almost one level, and you wouldn't even get a full level from it. Like that just doesn't feel like a weekly system that should have been in place. But this particular season, they've adjusted everything. Even if it's just 5,000 XP more, every weekly quest now has 15k XP. This makes it so that full levels are possible again from each weekly set. Not to mention, they've removed the match quest system they had in place. Match quests before would be each match you have one thing to do, and once you do it, you get 15k XP. And then you'd have to leave the match, load into another one, do it again, and then you get even less the next time. And then the third time, you would get 5k XP. 5k. That's literally the same amount that one accolade can get you in this season right now. Before, you were forced into doing 3 matches, which was time consuming, especially if you're a player that only has a limited amount of time to play. Let's say if you're working or if you have school, for example. Now, you can get all 3 challenges done in one game, feel like you're successful with your limited amount of time to play during the day. This in itself increasing your engagement and your will to play the game in the days to come. This engagement of players within a season makes it truly successful. I hope all of what I just told you today helps shed some light on this season, because I think truly that the original ways to play Fortnite are back. Before, I've had doubts and I've tried to find it all again like we had in Chapter 1, but right now this is the closest we've ever been to the OG Fortnite days, and they've never been better. So thank you, Epic Games, and all the team members that helped make this season happen. The new items, the insane replayability, and the rewards you earn this season have made me a truly happy fan and a truly happy player of Fortnite. So thank you all so much for watching, and thank you, Epic, once more. This has been Fortnite Wrecked, and why it's a top tier season. See you next time.